Another successful year with ESPN and video production highlighted another historic and groundbreaking season of ASUN broadcast as the conference continues to be an industry leader in video coverage. In its second year of existence, the Broadcast Advisory Group continued to streamline broadcast through increased campus-to-campus communication and collaboration. The group met in person at the ASUN fall meetings and formed an all-star production team to broadcast the second ASUN Hall of Fame induction ceremony live on ESPN3.
I try to practice instead Dr. Seuss's advice. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
For the second consecutive season, the ASUN leveraged its partnership with ESPN into a full 30-minute preseason show for men's and women's basketball broadcast on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app prior to the season. The show was the only one of its kind across the mid-major landscape to air on the ESPN properties and originated from the brand-new ASUN virtual set.
Tell us what excited you about coming to the ASUN and joining Kennesaw State.
I really believe in the commissioner of the ASUN. I think he's done a marvelous job. I think all the schools have great academic and athletic reputation, and I want to be a part of that.
So it's with great pleasure that at this time I want to officially announce and shake this man's hand that we welcome the University of North Alabama as the 9th member of the ASUN Conference.
The ASUN invited North Alabama into the conference in December live on the Watch ESPN app, once again utilizing its partnership with ESPN and the benefit of a dedicated broadcast services position to quickly turn around a full production on a short timetable. For the third consecutive season, all ASUN men's and women's home games were broadcast on ESPN3, making the ASUN ESPN's most covered conference outside the Power 5. The men's basketball championship game moved from ESPN2 to the ESPN flagship channel and experienced 69% growth in Watch ESPN viewers. Over the course of the men's basketball championship, broadcast saw over 15,000 more unique views than the previous year, with 51% growth in total minutes watched.
And it is time to party in Fort Myers. Dunk City! Back to the big dance.
The women's basketball championship games also continued their growth in total minutes watched with 5,000 more viewer minutes than the 2016 tournament. In addition to the continued growth in game viewership, the women's basketball championship experience improved for the student athletes with the first ever virtual banquet held prior to the women's quarterfinal round. For the 6th consecutive season, the ASUN expanded championship coverage, adding the entire beach volleyball championship in 2017, as well as broadcasting the final round of the men's and women's tennis championship on Watch ESPN for the first time in league history. The addition of tennis marks the 10th ASUN championship to be broadcast on an ESPN property, and the 8th sport added to ASUN broadcast coverage since 2012. In total, the ASUN's 61 championship broadcasts outpaced all other conferences outside the Power 5 in ESPN coverage by almost double. The next closest league checks in with 32 championship broadcasts. Each broadcast is produced at a fraction of the cost spent on productions of similar quality just 7 years ago. The ASUN's commitment to and investment in the on-campus production model realizes a savings of more than $15,000 per broadcast.
It's a new day.
No matter the height of our obstacles,
they will never block the sun. We can.
The ASUN displayed its new branding efforts in each commercial produced for ASUN broadcast, including a conference PSA featuring ASUN student athletes, emphasizing the league's student-first focus. League-produced all-conference videos continue to augment the release of all-conference teams, as well as increasing broadcast inventory for several postseason events. The continued exchange among peers, as well as the creation of the Career in Sport program, allowed for new opportunities for both students and student athletes to explore the field of live event production. The sharing of game-by-game highlights throughout regular seasons, each campus production continued to enhance its broadcast with the inclusion of previous game recaps, players to watch, and upcoming game previews. Across the league, the ASUN increased broadcast for the 6th consecutive year, putting 460 total events on the Watch ESPN app. The Broadcast Advisory Group's in-person meeting during the fall meetings featured the involvement of Skip Hill, a veteran ESPN producer and current broadcast professor, continuing the education and development of league producers and directors.
And a shot for a goal!
Great combination play from Reeves.